friends, come on in. It is Thursday night, almost 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Come on in, say hello, and type in freedom now. I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer in New York. Come on in, say hello. Hey there, Instagram, TikTok, McBean Immigration TV. Thank you so much for being with me tonight. It is late. It is late, and I wanted to check in with you guys to see how you're doing, how you're feeling, and to see how I could help you tonight with some concerns or questions that you have on your mind with immigration. We missed our Monday Immigration Freedom Now show because I had quite a bit of legal work actually to do. One of my colleagues on Lyft is on vacation this week, well-deserved vacation, and so I had to really go put in some overtime, put in some overtime this week. And so we had some very important things to do on Lyft, litigating immigration for freedom today, which is our federal practice, our new federal practice. And I had to devote that time needed. Thank you for being here tonight. I hope you're doing well. I saw some messages from folks on YouTube asking me how I'm doing and if everything's okay. Everything is terrific. We're plugging away for our clients, for our plaintiffs, for those who we get a chance to work with. So thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Double tap the screen and say hello. Say hello, say hello, say hello. So to reach us, friends, you could reach us 7 days a week, of course, at 914-898-9488 or at info@McBean Law to book a consultation with us. Come on in and say hello and let me know what's on your mind tonight. Okay, let's go into some of your immigration questions and some of your concerns. Come on in. Oops, let's go up here. Freedom now. Freedom now. Let's get the format in right. It's late. Okay, so I'm not even certain what's going on here with the formatting on McBean Immigration TV. We're just going to try our best to get into your questions. It's all about you tonight. It's all about you. Okay, so tell me what's on your mind. Let's get this correct here for you guys. All right, freedom now, freedom now. Someone says, glad all is well. Thank you, Stephanie. I saw your comment. I saw your question earlier this week, checking in on me. Thank you for checking in on me. Freedom now, guys. Freedom now. Hey there, Samson. Good to see you. Friends, we have consultations in our office as well as virtually. You could always reach out for a consultation if we cannot get into your questions tonight. Okay, let's go with some questions from both plaintiffs and also non-plaintiffs and anyone else out there who's watching tonight. I did see a plaintiff question here from Instagram from Elahe. Any approvals on your first round of group lawsuit against USCIS? Pause. Yes, actually, we've received a number of things. A number of approvals. We had a J1 waiver approved last week. The I-601A waiver was also approved, which is terrific. That happened last week as well. This week we saw a lot of action happen with our EADs. We had put in a special request recently with the government attorney to expedite the EADs because our plaintiffs, many of them were having a very, very hard time. So this week, yesterday and today, we saw several EAD approvals come in and naturalization and some other things. But yeah, this happy to see a 601A, happy to see a 612, I-130s. I'm still waiting on I-485s. I'm waiting on the I-485s, okay? But the EADs are coming in, so that's great. Is the pause lifted? Question from If Serena on TikTok. Is the pause lifted just for people in the States? So Serena, yes, according to the Dorcas ruling. In Rhode Island, the 39 country USCIS adjudication pause, along with some other things that they had going on, their policies, a court had issued an order for the government to lift all of that, to just end those bad policies. The government has appealed the decision. They did also come out with a statement, which I went live with you guys last week about as well, a statement from USCIS saying that they do not like this decision, they do not agree with it, and that they will go ahead and comply, right? And so that's the statement from USCIS. You could see that statement on their website. All right. And you could also watch my Friday live session where I went into a lot more details about some thoughts that I have concerning that statement and where things are headed. Last week I did 5 live sessions with you guys all about the Dorcas issue and things as things were developing. I tried my best to keep you posted. Any update on the visa bulletin for the F2 category? I'm not certain what the July visa bulletin is showing. You can, however, Google the visa bulletin for July and see what the updates are. I have not kept up with the visa bulletin updates because of other work that I've been involved in. But Google July, okay? July visa bulletin. And as a matter of fact, while we're together, I will do the same thing because I'd also like to know what it says, okay? July visa bulletin 2026 state, and it'll take you right to the State Department's bulletin here. And let's see, July 2026. This is the F2A category. Final action dates January 2025, and then dates for filing. It is current, okay? Current, which is great. Current, for those of you who are here in the United States, I think I had covered this too when that category became current a little while ago. If you're here in the United States and you are in lawful status and you want to do a concurrent filing for adjustment of status through a green card holder spouse, you can do so according to this visa bulletin. But the key is you must be in lawful status, whether it's through a visa like maybe the F1 student visa and you're still in compliance with that, or it could even be H1B, or you had entered the United States on your visa and you're still within that first 6 months. If they gave you 6 months, you're still within that I-94 period. Then and you had never worked without authorization, then adjustment of status is something that you could seek here, which is great because that F2A category isn't always current. So you want to jump on this opportunity while you can. Okay, if you're unclear about whether you're eligible to do adjustment of status, certainly meet with an attorney who can explain this to you and can explain the criteria to you. But that this is an important time. Visas are being freed up, I think, because of the pauses, the various pauses that are in effect. So the pause has not lifted for individuals outside of the United States, Serena, for those who are still facing the awful, and I think evil pause on immigrant visas that are separating families through the 75 country pause. As a matter of fact, in our case, we're going to be meeting with the plaintiffs tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. If you're part of our 52 country lawsuit, we're having your meeting tomorrow to go over some important developments. I emailed you this week about some of those developments. We had a hearing yesterday in your case in DC, Washington, DC, and I have some updates to share with you. So be sure to be part of tomorrow's Zoom meeting if you can. If you are at work and you cannot participate, but maybe you could listen, do listen into tomorrow's call with us about the 52 country or the 75 country lawsuit. That lawsuit is that problem is still very much very, very real, and it's really hurting a lot of people. I have on my desk a stack of letters like this high. I couldn't believe it when my colleague, I asked him to print all the letters for our lawsuit. And it was like this high, and I started reading those letters, and I just, my heart broke tremendously for what you guys are going through. It's this to me is this is evil, and we have to really attack it. So stay tuned for round two of the 75 country, because this is really hurting a lot of people, and we're just doing our part, doing our best to fight for you and to advocate for you before these federal judges. It's not easy. It's really, 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 really hard. I can't emphasize that enough, but we're trying our best and we're seeing some results. As a matter of fact, today, one of our clients, we got a preliminary injunction granted for one of our Nigerian clients. This is an individual lawsuit, and this is out of the Northern District of California. And we filed this injunction, the complaint, we filed it on May 29th, okay? And today the judge issued the order granting him preliminary injunction, and this is post Dorcas, which is really important, really, really important. I can't emphasize that enough. For those of you who have been really paying attention, what's so important about this order that we got from the judge is that other lawyers around the United States can use some of this language to help their clients in their fight for an injunction. And you might be saying, well, why in the world would the judge issue an injunction post Dorcas, after Dorcas? Why would, I mean, I thought the pause was, everything was lifted, the policies were lifted, right? The judge addressed this very issue in her decision. And she says here, friends, that, and I really hope that you're, really tuned in. She said that, well, despite the fact that Dorcas happened, there's an appeal pending, and that decision could be reversed. And based on other decisions that are on the book, courts can issue additional preliminary injunctions when the person, right, the plaintiff, is facing that harm. And in this case, our client, a brilliant, brilliant young man with a master's degree, needed his OPT EAD, right, his extension that he filed in March. And otherwise, he's going to lose this amazing job, that offer that has been given to him. The judge thought that was important and that this is irreparable harm that he would face. And she says here, even though the policy memoranda and policy alert were vacated in Dorcas, our client still faces imminent harm because of the uncertainty that remains as to whether that ruling will be stayed or overturned on appeal. She also goes on to say courts routinely grant follow on injunctions against the government, even in instances when an earlier nationwide injunction has already provided plaintiffs in the later action with their desired relief. That is particularly true when the other order is one in a different circuit that could be overturned or limited at any time. Indeed, the government has already filed a notice of appeal in Dorcas and seemingly intends to request a stay from the First Circuit. And as a matter of fact, it was this week we fought this because the government wanted to end this case after Dorcas, because that's their strategy now. Like, oh, now that Dorcas is here, let's try to get a stay and end all of these cases. We pushed back. We did push back strongly. It was funny because I woke up that Tuesday morning, this Tuesday morning, and my colleague said I need to write the reply brief in this because the government is trying to close this out. And I said, well, we're not going to agree to the terms from the government side of things, the terms that were offered. Nope, we're going to fight this all the way to the end. And here's what you say. And I hadn't even gotten dressed yet for work. I just stood there in my bedroom and I typed up some ideas for her. I said, here's how you approach this. Let's go back to Todd Blanche's motion. And I won't say anything else, but I basically laid it out for her. And she did a great job writing up that brief that morning, filed it. And today he got this order granting him preliminary injunction and ordering USCIS to ordering the government to submit a status report by June 22nd, confirming that this order has been communicated to USCIS and that his application is currently being adjudicated. But then guess what happened? Like within, I want to say, I don't even know if it was like within an hour of this decision, USCIS approved his work permit. Why? Because the lawyer for the government said, oh, I don't want to do any more work on this. There's a preliminary injunction. Let's just get him this expedited approval. And his case is approved. He emailed us right away in Clio, I should say, approved. And we said, give us the proof, show us the proof. And so he immediately sent us the screenshot and we shared bits of it on Instagram. So I'm happy for him because he gets to step into his exciting job offer next month. And today I called him, I said, you need to come to New York and say hello to us. After this, we need to meet you. I can't wait to meet you, you brilliant person who got this amazing job offer. I'm so happy for you. It makes a difference. So we are continuing to fight post Dorcas. We are fighting, 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 fighting. And I shared his order with attorneys across the United States so that they could see this and use this language to fight for their people, their clients. Guys, one at a time, but this one can help others. So super thankful that he has gotten this great decision out of the Northern District of California. Feeling hopeful. Terrific. Terrific. Someone says, feeling hopeful. Freedom now. Um, let's see. Watching from Boston. Hello there. How long does it take to get the receipt? After I've submitted my application for military parole in place, my lawyer said it just takes 2 weeks. My lawyer just sent 2 weeks ago. Is normal. Don't have the receipt yet. I'm not sure. I have not, Leonardo, I have not done that type of case, military parole in place, in quite a long time. Me personally, I don't know. I'm not tracking the receipts. I'm not sure how long it will take to get that receipt notice. Congratulations to him. Yes, congratulations not only to him, but others who this language will help. Okay. Freedom now. Freedom now. Let's see. Thank you. Double tap. Thank you for the numbers 624. I thank you for the scripture. Awesome. Does my spouse need to go back to her country when she applies for the green card? I have a green card. Such a good question. No, your spouse does not need to go back. But to do the adjustment of status, however, you'll need to become a U.S. citizen at some point soon in order for your spouse to then be able to do adjustment of status. What else is on your mind? Please, can I have your phone number? Sure, Rosina is asking. It is 914-898-9488, and you're watching here on TikTok. So just go over into the bio after tonight's session, and you'll see our phone number there. Someone says, you look refreshed. Really? You have no, thank you for that, but you have no idea the week oh gosh, it was rough, 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 but it's good stuff. It's good stuff. You know what was the roughest is it was going through those letters from our plaintiffs in the 52 country. You guys, I'm telling you, it gave me chills. Even our team who are on Lyft, our team, they are still. We were all talking about it. We were like, oh my God, you painted such a picture for the court of the harm that you're suffering. I said, this to me is like, it's evil. Guys, here's what you need to understand about this 75 country problem. Okay. It is hurting people whose cases are approved at the US Embassy. They did everything right. They passed every test. They went through every level of scrutiny, and and there were no inadmissibility problems found against these people. And the cable that Secretary Rubio sent in January to all the posts worldwide, consulates worldwide, said essentially this, that all these people who pass all these tests that we've set up for them to get a visa, a green card to come to America, if you can't find any inadmissibility problem against them, if they're from one of these 75 countries, set them aside indefinitely until the government develops new screening protocols and tools to do what? Take them through a second test. They passed the first test. Now let's create a second, tougher test that we will run them through when we're ready to do that. And it's been 6 months, and that next second test is nowhere to be found. And then you have children who one of our plaintiffs described. He said he's separated from his little son. He said, I'm like a cartoon in my son's head because my son only sees me on the phone in the morning and in the night. Now, guys, I'm telling you, I read that and I really wanted to weep. And what is the rationale for this craziness? The rationale for this craziness is, oh, all these people from these 75 countries, they're likely to become a public charge. Yet, they have gone through the scrutiny already at the US Embassy, and the embassy did not find that to be a concern. And the government even said in that cable from January that if you do find a public charge problem and they give you additional evidence to overcome it, still set them aside indefinitely and wait for us to create our second tougher tests to run them through. Now, you tell me, what in the world is that? I feel like preaching tonight. I got so stirred up. It's terrible what they're doing. So we're with you on this. We know that it's been 6 months and you're separated and you're hurting. We understand that and we're fighting for you. And we really want to fight for more people in with this problem very soon as well. Do any update from the 39 countries for 485s? I did say earlier that I haven't seen any 485 approval yet on the in the 39, but we have through in our office, obviously, we're seeing some 485s. I just want to report out to you guys, by the way, because I am watching adjustment of status and we are seeing adjustment of status approvals coming in. So they kind of lifted whatever weird slowdown they had on adjustment of status, that it's back on track and those approvals are coming in. So very happy for the clients who are getting those adjustment of status approvals. Freedom Now from New Jersey. If you're now joining, thank you for being here. Call me, please. I won't be able to do that. But you can reach out to us at 914-898-9488 tomorrow and book a consultation. Our office is now closed. Freedom Now, guys. Someone says, I was going to file my K1 visa. still go ahead and do your case. It doesn't even night do get your case in. Get your case in. Guys, just get something in. I know it seems intimidating right now when you hear about all these bans and policies, and but just get your case in, because these agents are actually still at USCIS. I'm referring to, by the way. They're looking at these cases, and then when you have certain things going on, like lawsuits, it does put a lot more pressure on the government. Someone says that they filed a stay for First Circuit for the H-1B, um, the $100,000 fee case. The government isn't going to sit by and take all of this. Trust me on that. They are not. I'm not sure how long on the First Circuit stay, Amipat. I'm not sure how long that one is gonna pend there. I have a marriage case adjustment of status I filed in October 2025, and I interviewed in February. No decision yet, and no work permit. What to do? The work permit, Paulo, at a minimum, you should have gotten that already. Are you from one of those pause countries? Thank you for the gift, by the way. Are you from one of the 39 or not? Something's going on there. You might want to speak with an attorney about that. I wonder what a public charge case is, someone is asking on TikTok. Public charge, friends, which is coming back in a very fierce way. Public charge is the way it is a way for the government to public charge basically means that you're going to be relying on, there's a likelihood that you will rely on public benefits if you were to come to America. And so our law does allow U.S. embassies and consulates, and of course during the adjustment of status process as well, it if it allows them to evaluate you based on your age, your financial status, and some other factors to evaluate whether you're likely to become a public charge. And of course, we have the affidavit of support process, which allows a U.S. citizen or even a green card holder to be able to sponsor you, so to speak, financially, and stand in the gap for you, and take the, uh, uh, bear the burden, so to speak, if something was to go wrong. I sure did say that. Something was to go wrong later on, right? Like if you come to America and you somehow commit fraud against the taxpayers and steal welfare dollars, they could go after your sponsor, so to speak. So there's the affidavit of support process to protect, I guess, taxpayers and to protect the government in the event something like that happens. So now this administration is hyper focused on self-sufficiency, and you've proven that you have the means to take care of yourself and that you won't become dependent on public benefits. Let's go. Freedom now. What else is on your mind? Let's go through your questions, more questions. Someone says, I'm part of the lucky 39 here. Just hoping and praying I don't lose my job since my EAD and my 180-day STEM OPT extension is all over. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I am sorry to hear that. Friends, if you're out there and you are facing an urgent deadline, like what our client, the one who we got the preliminary injunction order today for, if you have something like that going, certainly work with an attorney to do an individual lawsuit and see whether you can. The attorney needs to really have some degree of savviness and skill, as we're navigating these rough waters together. We're all learning new stuff, but we're breaking through in some ways. but work with someone who can file that injunction for you. Okay, and put your big problem before the court and make a case that you will suffer real harm, irreparable harm, harm that is you can't fix, right? If it was to occur, you can't just fix it. It just goes away. And the courts do support the idea that if you have a job on the line and you're going to lose that job, that is harm. That is irreparable harm that you will suffer. So, take that aggressive step. You could reach out to us if you'd like to talk about an individual lawsuit. We will be upfront and honest with you and get that going for you, okay? Let's see. Please, is there any advice you can give on anyone who's got a spouse overseas and wants to send an invitation to them due to how the immigration situations are affecting filings? Not sure what you mean by this. Sending an invitation to your spouse. You could file for your spouse. You could file for your spouse, do a one-on-one meeting with us, and we could talk a little bit more about this. Let's see. I'm a US citizen and I have been married to an Iranian person. With all the travel ban for Iranians, can I apply for marriage green card for him? Sarah is asking. Sarah, yes, you can. You can start that process and push through at USCIS. There's an appeal pending right now in that Dorcas case that I've been talking about. And we'll see how things go with that appeal process. But go ahead and get into it. Don't allow the don't allow the strategy to work. Just get in, get your good case in, and keep it moving. And when you encounter a wall, speak to someone about how can I get over this? Is it possible to get over this wall? And it depends on the environment and what's going on and court decisions and such. You might be able to get over it or you might not be able to get over it, but just start. Start, okay? Any updates on adjustment of status? Georgia is asking. Georgia, yes, they're moving on adjustment of status these days. If you're from a 39, if you're one of the 39, if you're a national from one of the 39 travel ban countries and your adjustment of status has been approved, I tell us. Please report out. I'm really curious about that. Have you seen any approval since the pause is lifted? Yes, approvals are coming in for some of our clients. I have not actually had the time since the pause has quote unquote been lifted to drill down with our team here to see, okay, where are these approvals? What are the countries of nationality? I've just been really focused on, obviously, the litigation. Is Jamaica one of the 39? No, Jamaica is not. Jamaica is part of the 75, though. Um, are there any updates on the 75 country visa pause? I did provide an update earlier about what's going on with us. Tomorrow, we're going to also have a meeting with our plaintiffs to dive into more details about their case tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So if you're part of our 52 country lawsuit, please check your email. We did send you the Zoom link today from Michaela on our team. Okay. A friend of mine on his way back from Africa was stopped and asked to step aside, even as a U.S. citizen was taken for second questioning. What is happening? I don't know what the suspicion level was with respect to this person, why they pulled him aside. Um, I'm not sure. I don't know why they would have done that to him in particular. Let's go down. 221G for 75 country. What does that mean? I mentioned earlier that they're placing these cases that really are approved cases, the ones who did everything right, and you have no inadmissibility problems, they're placing you in this 221G administrative processing, and they're waiting until they develop what they call more screening tools to determine whether individuals are going to be a public charge. And they're 6 months into it now, and nothing, no screening tools, and all these people are still just there waiting. So once they come up with something, their second test to run people through again, then they're going to release individuals from that administrative processing. Thank you. Let's double tap the screen. What else is on your mind? How could I help you tonight? Can you go for fingerprint if you have an asylum case pending for an EAD card? Ravi is asking. So Ravi, if you get a biometrics notice, go in and do your biometrics. I don't know what case that's connected to. Is it normal for ICE to ask for you to come in for the renewal of a 10-year green card? No, it is not normal. Happy to talk with you about what's happening there privately. Okay. Um, GH says we sent our I-130 and all our papers which were needed, and I'm still waiting for the interview. But the same time who sent their papers, they had an interview, but we don't. Could you please help me to understand why? Okay, so you're saying that someone that you know submitted their paperwork and they already have their interview scheduled, but you don't know if your case was slowed down due to the adjudication pause or not. The system is not fair. It's not fair. It's you will see these types of things happen. I can't explain it. I really can't. Thank you. Let's see what else is on your mind. If a visa such as the R1 is not on the list of suspended visas for one of the partially banned countries, can that visa be applied for? So I think what you'll need to do, I think it depends on what the presidential proclamation says, and which ban you're referring to there. But just know that the 75 country, that's an immigrant visa ban. It doesn't impact cases like the R1, non-immigrant cases like applications like the R1, the visitor visa, the student visa, and those other non-immigrant visas. But check the presidential proclamation to ensure that you're not part of one of those bans where you can't even do the immigrant visa non-immigrant visa. Yeah, that's correct. I feel like you know what this is like, guys, honestly. It's like in a moment in time, I feel like I'm super knowledgeable like about one thing. Presidential proclamation, such and such. Know everything about that one. 6 months later, don't know that much about it anymore because I had to stuff all this other stuff in my mind. So, because there's a lot, there's a, yeah, it's quite a bit, really quite a bit, guys. You could request. Oh, okay. I'll pull this one up. I'm sorry. I thought I'd. What do you suggest that you do? Glory is asking. What is the right thing to do if you've already paid for premium processing for EB2, but USCIS is yet to give you a decision? Any consequence for requesting a refund? I could tell you this, Glory, that in one of our lawsuits, the first one, round one, because that's the one that reached the furthest with the preliminary injunction, and now we're trying to enforce that preliminary injunction. The way the government approached it with respect to the premium processing issue is in an affidavit they submitted. In our case, they said, "Oh, yes, we were supposed to make a decision on those premium processing cases within that certain time period. But we also said that if we don't do that, you could be refunded. That's what they're thinking. Obviously that's ridiculous. Um, but that's how they're looking at it. I haven't seen any retaliation, not in our lawsuit. I really haven't, and I would have been very transparent with you about that. Haven't seen any retaliation, so there's a refund process, and seek your refund. It's your right to. If birthright citizen end, will it be retroactive? It won't be retroactive. I don't think it's going to end. We're all waiting on that decision, of course. Um, I just don't think that they're gonna go in that direction. But stranger things have been known to happen under this with that Supreme Court. Let's go down. Thank you guys for being with me. It is late. I am still at the office. Let's see. I will go before you and make the crooked places straight. Thank you. I will break in pieces the gates of bronze. Someone is quoting scripture there. Thank you for that. Um, Good evening, Mrs. Latoya. Is there bad? Is there a ban on Jamaican immigrant visa? Yeah, there is. Unfortunately, Jamaicans are part of the 75 country ban. They have not made any changes to those to that list. Okay, I've answered the question about biometrics with the asylum case pending. Can you re-enter the United States if you have a green card but are from one of 39 banned countries? Yes, you can. The green card holders have the right and privilege of returning to the United States. Thank you, guys. What's a straightforward N400 case? Good question. Thank you for the heart, the gift there on TikTok. Straightforward, honestly, is there really a straightforward N400? Let's think. Straightforward N400. I would probably say someone who had a smooth path to a green card, number one. Smooth path, meaning that your case wasn't slowed down by accusations by the government about fraud or misrepresentations. Also, there's no criminal record. Also, you've been paying your taxes, right? You've been paying your taxes. Others, you have good character, meaning that you could show that you care about this country somehow. I know that sounds strange to add to the list, right? Because that's not part of the criteria necessarily. But what I mean by that is, you are active in your community in some ways. You don't have to be. You could be just one of those, like many of us, we go to work and we go home and right? That's fine too. You've stayed out of trouble. You're somewhat active in your community, I should say, and you don't have any weird travel history. Like you don't spend a whole lot of time, 6 months or longer, here and there outside of the United States. Your travel pattern is just normal, vacation, 2 to 3 weeks a year, that kind of thing. And Yeah, I think that to me is straightforward, honestly. Um, so take it for whatever it's worth, okay? That's a great question. Thank you so much for asking that. Um, Someone says the only thing is if someone is financially restricted due to job loss because of the delays, one can't partake in a lawsuit or be able to retain a lawyer. May God help us all. I hear you. And I read one of the letters last night in our 75 country case. For simplicity, let's just say 75. I'm tired of the 52, 75. It's too much. Let's just say 75. Um, in one of the letters that I read, the plaintiff, expressed that, gosh, I had to even take out a loan to be part of this lawsuit. I had to take out a loan to be part of this lawsuit because I had to. And I get that. What we, but we for round two, I think it was, or the 52, we put in place a payment plan option where you start with 750, and then you need to pay the balance by a certain point in the process. Um, and the cost, we've tried to keep it low. It's 1,500 because we have top quality attorneys who are working and feeling this and working and working and working and working. So they have to be paid too, right, for what they're doing. The nonprofits, God bless them, they're doing their part too, like the Dorcas. Those were all organizations, and it made a huge impact. Okay, so the organizations are doing their part. The We're doing our part. I don't know about others. We're doing our part. 1,500. We try to have a little payment plan in place. And we hope that, like even this decision here that I read earlier in this preliminary injunction that we got today for our one client, his individual case, for his work permit, because it's that important. It's a hefty, it's a sum, right? It's not 1,500. And, some people can do that. Others can do the 1,500, and then others can benefit, right? Like this. Others will benefit from this decision because, like I said, other lawyers around the country will cite to this and will pull out language that the judge wrote here because this is post Dorcas decision. And I haven't seen another one like this actually. I don't even know if this is the first post Dorcas. I could be wrong. I haven't seen it, but this is very important. You understand? So, one way or another, I think that the work will really touch people. It's amazing. It's each one doing their part. So we're doing our part, and I think that it's making a difference. It's evil what's going on, guys. Evil, like evil. It's like so unnecessary to do this to all these people. It's terrible. When will the I-130 release from Jamaica? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Um, I'm not going to get emotional tonight, but when I think about what they're doing, particularly for the 75 country folks, I get so upset. Um, my niece is waiting. Let's get back on track. My niece is waiting. She was approved for something a while now. Still no date for an interview. What was she approved? What was approved in that? Was it an I-130? Let's see. Someone's status. If someone's Smith Kate is asking if someone's status is pending adjustment of status, but they are in the lawsuit, is it dangerous? No, like I said, I have not seen any retaliation for being in the lawsuit. Oh, update. Spice Girl wants to give us an update. Hi, Miss McBean. I do remember this. Not sure if you remember the person that said her 9-year-old son got his EAD approved. Today they were both approved for the green card. Terrific. I remember that. That was last week during one of the live sessions. That's good news. That tells me there's some progress happening. That's great. That's great. That is great. Um, My I-140 is still pending since 2024. Any action I should take at this time? That I-140, is this an NIW case? It looks like, I don't know. I don't mean to judge you. You look like an NIW guy. Um, they have a look. Smarts, sharp. If you're an if it's an NIW case, um, you could speak one on one to see whether it makes sense to try to move forward with a mandamus. I don't know what your country of nationality is, however, and whether the pause had anything to do with your case or not. Um, any update on the H-1B $100,000 fee is illegal? Someone updated me earlier tonight during this session that a stay was is sought in that case. I haven't been following it. I'm sorry. I've been wrapping my head around the 75 country problem, and the 39 country USCIS problem, and trying to help all these people. It's like overnight we added so many clients, like boom, overnight, 600 people, um, and more. So we're we have a lot that we're handling. Freedom now. Let's see, where am I? How much are a green card holder? How long does it take a green card holder to file for a child 26 years old? Mom lives here in New York. It's going to take several years. I do still have the visa bulletin here in front of me, I'm sorry, for July, and November 2017 is what they're up to in that category. November 2017 cases that were filed by that point, right? The government is working on. So you're looking at several years here, and then you'll need a waiver to complete the process and then to travel back to the home country if you're here in America. If you're not in America, then you can have a very smooth process outside of the United States. The key takeaways from tonight, friends, is I would say is don't lose hope. Things are still happening. File your case. Become aggressive when you need to. If you have a work permit on hold and you have a job offer and you have things, you're facing that harm of losing that job, consider filing an individual lawsuit. Let's see. What are the key takeaways should you have for tonight? USCIS adjustment of status. We're starting to see movement on adjustment of status cases. People are reporting out. I've reported out for some of our cases. Approvals came in. So adjustment of status seems to somehow, somewhat, maybe back on track. We are seeing some results from our lawsuit as well, round one. Round two, round three, we're aiming for next week to file your case, okay? So if you have not, if you're part of our round three for USCIS 39 country case, which we're still filing, it's going to be next week that I'm aiming for and working with the team on. So if you have not been plugged into your emails, you might have missed something very important from us, like we need your declarations. We needed it by Tuesday, actually. So please get on it because it's slowing things down, and we're really trying to get that one filed. What is the I-130 petition timeline now? Generally speaking, first of all, it depends on your category, who's filing for you. But if it's like a marriage case, 12 to 18 months. It's getting longer, unfortunately. Oops. Let's see. Is it illegal to have a green card without health insurance? I don't think that's illegal to not have health insurance. How could they penalize individuals for that? Is there a rumor going on around on the internet about this issue? I'm now getting wind of this. That's coming from someplace. Have you guys heard about this? It's strange to me. Is it advisable to inquire from USCIS about the status of your case? Absolutely, absolutely. They have created that Emma system that will allow you to do some live chatting. Take it for what it's worth, really. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not that accurate. But that they've put in a whole lot of resources, from what I understand, into that customer service system. Try that. You could also, put in a service request as well with them. They will only they they try to do a little screening to make sure that, okay, we're only getting these service requests for people whose cases are ready so to speak, for us to adjudicate, or outside of the time frame. So they screen you, and so some people can put in that request, other people cannot. But yes, you could even pick up the phone and call them as well. All right. Freedom now. Freedom now, people. That's what this person has said. Okay. Thank you for being here, EC. Thank you. Yesterday, I ran into some lovely ladies who came to our office. They're from Mali. Mali. I ran into them on their way out, and I was on my way to grab some lunch. So if you're watching, hello, hello. And then today, someone from Mali came in too. So I said, oh, okay. Getting the Mali connection here. All right, West Africa. So beautiful people. Very nice, very warm people. Um, let's see. Let's see. I have a pending asylum case, but I had married to a US citizen. What should I do now? Your US citizen spouse can file for you, and when the time comes, the asylum case will become irrelevant and it could be withdrawn, okay? Freedom now. Rosie says, sorry that I'm late. Freedom now. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. You're not late. Okay, let's see. Attorney Bean, thanks for your consistency in bringing us updates. What would you recommend for someone who just wants to file marriage-based green card within the U.S.? Any red flag to watch for? Oh, yes. So, if my first advice is, if it's a genuine marriage, file the case. Okay. Um, uh, Make sure you have a good amount of evidence proving that it is genuine, including evidence of living together, evidence of bringing your finances together, like a joint bank account. You'll also need to think about insurances like, health insurance, life insurance, car insurance. You also should think about communications like text messages, phone logs, pictures showing you in over a period of time in developing your relationship. Think about your story. How did it start? How did it grow? And what it's like today, right? Think about those different phases of the relationship and how you're sharing your life together. You could pull some evidence together to show that those phases. Also, think about the fact that the government is looking at your history. If you had filed before in another marriage case with them, with USCIS, and it didn't work out, they are absolutely going to really get into the details potentially of the old case. So have a lawyer pull your record, or you could do it yourself. Request your FOIAs. It's free. You don't need a lawyer to do that for you necessarily, because it is free and the instructions are on the internet. You could also try Gemini or ChatGPT AI to help you with some instructions on how to request FOIA, is what they call it, FOIA. How do I request my FOIA records from USCIS? Just use AI, very easy, free tools out there. Will guide you through those steps, and then you could see what's on your record for yourself. And if you don't understand all of it, you could meet with someone and have that person go through those records for you and explain some things. So the flags that the government is looking for in marriage cases are really about fraud and whether you're trying to commit marriage fraud or not. So it's your job to prove them wrong. And they are catching a lot of the marriage fraud cases, I will tell you that. They are catching them. Don't think about it, guys. Do not engage in it. Don't even think about it. It seems like it could be the way out, but it's a trap. Today, you don't think about it. Don't do it. Take it from me, because I have the unfortunate you know, I meet with people who did do that. They did it. They did it. And then I have to have difficult discussions with them. It's really hard to get out of that problem. So just do it genuinely. Um, What would be the average cost, do you think, to file a lawsuit? It depends on what type of lawsuit you're looking to file. You could meet with us so that we could screen you to see if you have a case that we could pursue for you in court. If I have a question for you, please, if my wife is the principal applicant, can she use my country as cross-charge ability if her country fall behind me? I don't know what you mean by that. Can she use my country? Um, I don't really understand that. That's the extent of my knowledge ended when I saw cross charge. I don't get it. Maybe another immigration lawyer is watching who gets it. I have my limitations too. I don't know what you mean, sir. If you mean something like this, that okay, if it's a marriage case and one person is from a banned country, can I don't know. Maybe I don't want to read too much into it. If I don't understand it. I'm humble enough to say knowledge ended when I saw certain words. Freedom now. Um, what about the issuance of visa for a spouse from the 75? They are still holding those, unfortunately. DNA was sent to, they asked for DNA. I-130 approved. They asked for DNA file sent to the embassy. Reach out to us and maybe get an appointment with maybe Attorney Carol on our team. She handles most of our consular cases, actually, if not all. And she could guide you on what to expect next in this matter involving the DNA, okay? Embassies do request, and also USCIS from time to time requests DNA evidence. Does the screening tool include DACA applications? The screening tool that I discussed earlier has to do with the 75 country problem, and it was noted in the cable that Secretary Marco Rubio issued in early January, January 14th, I think. And they are quote unquote working on that, and everyone need to wait. They just need to wait indefinitely, and it's been 6 months, and they're going to run people through this second test. But so that this has, to my knowledge, nothing to do with DACA. What I think, though, on the U.S. side of things, I think they're working on a stronger public charge screening on the adjustment of status side, potentially coming down the road around self-sufficiency again. I think that's really what they're working on here. I filed my form I-601A, and I already got sent for my biometrics within a week. How much longer should I expect the process? It's potentially 3 years, 3 to 4 years with that one. Oh, I've answered that one. My case was denied through my, where did the question go? Through my 27-year-old son. I'm sorry to hear that. If your case has been, I want to go to it actually directly. Where is it? I thought I saw that. Okay, my case was denied through my son, my born son. He's 27. So, speak with someone. You could speak with us about that, about what's next. But act very quickly. Act very quickly. How else can I help you guys tonight? Is the Nigeria ban lifted? Nigeria ban. The travel ban has not lifted with respect to Nigeria. I'm still waiting on I-45 approvals for the banned countries, 39 countries ban. I'm answering. I'm just, for the speed of things, answering questions. Not necessarily reading all of them. See, guys, remember when I said, oh, he looks like an NIW guy? Guess what? He says I-140, NIW, EB2, still pending since 2024. They just have a look. Dare I say it? Nigerian? Please tell me if I'm right about that. The name sounds Nigerian. Okay. A good number of NIW Nigerian applicants who we've seen over the years and through interacting with you, they get their approval, guys, of their NIW. They know how to do this thing. They have it down. It's like a science. They know how to do it. And I do see frequently that they are approved just through the community, of course, the community here. They know how to do it. Freedom now. What time is it? Oh, it's almost 9 o'clock. Do you know where your children? Do you? I know someone's asking, where is my spouse? Do you guys remember that? It is. You guys are too young for that commercial. Do you know where your children are? Something like that, right? From the 80s. Guys, I'm going to get out of the office. Thank you so much for being with me. I hope I helped you a little bit tonight. I just wanted to stop by and answer some of your questions and connect with you. Thank you so much. I'm going to continue to try my best to see how I could connect with you more. I am planning for Monday again at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern time for our normal Freedom Now show, and where I could answer more questions and cover some news. However, if I'm able to steal away some time over the next few days, of course, I will do that. Thank you so much for being with me tonight. It was wonderful. You guys have a wonderful evening. Bye bye.